everybody, part 2 of the airbag suspension install was a bit of a failure today. I got the truck up on the lift, I got the wheels off, I started working on the passenger side, and then once I was like halfway through, I realized the brake line bracket that we have in the United States is different than the brake line bracket that they built the relocation kit for in Australia. I took pictures of what I have. I took pictures of how the brake line was run with the bracket and airbag on there. And it was just a little bit disconcerting to me because the brake line, even with an extra piece of rubber protecting it, was right up against the threads of a bolt and up against the bracket. And as you press the brakes and as you're driving down the street, that thing's moving just a little tiny bit. And, you know, hours and hours and days and hundreds of miles, that's eventually going to wear through that rubber and wear through the outer section of the metal lining and then through the lining itself, and then you're going to lose brake pressure. I'm pretty sure on these modern cars, if you lose brake pressure on one, you lose that brake and then the opposite corner. You don't lose all four, but still, that's not something you want to have happen. So I took pictures. I sent those pictures to AAA Suspension in Australia to ask them kind of what their recommendation is. Obviously, they built this for Australia. I bought it knowing it might not work, but they've been very reactive to our questions. There's a couple of us that have bought it and they're very good to get back to us. So I'm thinking it's going to work out. Just was not able to get it installed today, unfortunately. And I said in my previous video, I should have it done in a day or two. I did do all of my factory level measurements. I put the truck up on a couple of ramps, the front left tire and the rear right tire, to get some articulation. And I measured this wheel at full extension, that wheel at max compression, just to get an idea. Once I put the airbags on there, even when they're totally empty, do I lose much range of motion in the suspension, or is it pretty much still good stock as long as there's no pressure in there? And then I also wanted to be able to compare that to when I have my 300 pounds worth of stuff in the back of my truck and then I inflate it back to this height. When I go through with the articulation valve open, will I still get a decent amount of flex compared to what I had before, or is it really going to be that much different? I do think that if you ride around with maybe a couple PSI in there in the articulation valve closed so that they stay separate, it's almost going to act a little bit like a sway bar. Obviously, sway bar is a tensioner bar, and like as one wheel goes down, it pulls the other one with it, so you're kind of staying level. I think the airbags will function moderately like that, but this is definitely not a sport truck to go out and ride around on the streets. I mean, it's fun to drive around the streets, but it's not like, you know, the old Ford Lightning or the S10 Extreme or the there's a Toyota TRD something, the sport one that's lowered. That, I mean, they're all cool looking trucks. But anyway, that's it. I'll put the measurements in here. I'll show you what I did with those articulation, but unfortunately, I didn't get it done today, and I got to go do my 100 burpees, and I got like another hour of sunlight, so I need my truck to run tomorrow so I can get to work, so I couldn't just leave it up on jack stands overnight. All right, guys, that's it. Kind of bad news, but I will be back this weekend, and I am determined to get this thing done and kind of show you how these airbags function and what range of movement in your suspension you might lose, what you gain, things like that. Cheers.